Hello, 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 and happy fucking Wednesday, you guys. And welcome to People Talk Now. I'm your host, Vanessa Herrera, and this is the show where you ask about it and I talk about it. So yeah, episode 35. Here we are, you guys. Man, we are getting through these episodes during quarantine, aren't we? So, good morning. Happy Wednesday. I hope your day is going good. I hope you woke up in positive spirits right now. I hope right now you're listening to my show and you're just like, yes, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna get out of this funk and I'm gonna get through this whole quarantine and I'm gonna come out alive and you're just gonna stay positive as much as you can. As much as you possibly physically can, right? Because I know it's not easy. So yeah. Today I decided, first of all, let me just say that I had something kind of written out and planned, and I just kind of tossed it out the window. I was like, you know what? Fuck the script. Fuck anything being in order. I'm just gonna give you guys a piece of advice from my perspective and how it worked out for me, which is what I try to do most of the time. But yeah, and so I wanted to talk about choices, which is today's topic, choices. And how those can basically alter our life for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I wanted to share a personal story and experience. But before I do that, really quick, I just wanted to add that this sweater that I'm wearing is a Satori Mob sweater, and it's freaking dope. It's one of my favorite sweaters. Super stylish. Hold on. Let me show you guys what else I got too. So, I got this really cool hat too from Satori. When we try to look extra fly and whatnot. But that's besides the point. I'm a little hot, so I can't wear hats right now. I don't know why. So we're talking about this dope-ass brand, which, by the way, Satori Mob is basically a clothing brand that I model for. Shout out to Satori Mob. And I thought, since I'm talking about a brand that I'm wearing, since I'm talking about a clothing line that I represent as a model, and I'm talking about choices, before I get into that, I'm going to tell you that if you like this sweater or the hat I was rocking right now, the whole vibe, if you're feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You feeling this fit that I'm rocking, you know what I'm saying? You can find items like this and many other dope new merch that has dropped literally recently. There's always new merch coming out. I need to get me some new merch, but I'm gonna drop the link down below to the website so that way you guys can go find it and you guys can copy some of this dope merch, because it don't mean we gotta stop looking fabulous during quarantine. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, basically, I wanted to use this clothing brand to kind of represent the topic I'm going to discuss, because I had this whole other thing planned out, but then I was just like, yo, this is a perfect scenario to basically talk about choices and how the choices that we make can impact our lives in that very moment, or it can ricochet a whole other event of things for you if you choose it, right? So we're going to do a little story time, all right? So it's going close to, I would say, like it's been a little over a year and a half. We're almost closing in on like 2 years, close to it, basically. So I remember Reverie, who's a dope-ass artist from LA, who I'd been listening to for quite a while already. I remember she did a post saying that they were like doing a casting call for models, right? And The reason why I wanted to bring up this story is because it literally describes the topic so well to the T. And I'm like, yo, this is a perfect scenario to like play out for people so they can understand the choices that you make and how they affect you. So I remember she had did like a casting call sort of thing, kind of basically letting people know like, hey, I'm looking for models. This is what I'm looking for. And I remember I saw it, and even though I was listening to her music, and even though her music resonated really dope with how I felt, I was like, okay, so she's looking for people, and I thought to myself, like, there's that voice, like that voice that pops up in your head, and then I was like, I'm not good enough, right? Like, a little something in my head was just like, nah, like maybe you're not good enough, maybe you're not what she's looking for. And I'd love to model. People that have known me for a long time know that I used to actually model a lot longer ago. I won competitions for modeling, and I love modeling, like, cause I love wearing fashion. I love like just rocking new clothes, the latest things. I like looking good. I like feeling good. So, but I don't know why this particular day, and maybe I do know why. I shouldn't say that I don't know why, but this particular day when I saw this, I was just like, man, like my mind just started wondering, and I started thinking of all these things, all these possibilities, right? Like, I was like, man, I started daydreaming. I'm like, I would love to wear her clothes. I would like to just, oh man, it would be so cool. And oh man, it'd be like the greatest thing. Like, like if I could just get that opportunity to just prove myself. And again, it's like one of those things where like, yeah, I've never actually worn anybody's clothing brand. So I was just like, that little voice starts creeping in, like, well, you're not good enough for that. Like, you're not, like, what makes you think that they're going to choose you when there's people who already know what they're doing? They need people that maybe have experience, right? And I just started making all these, like, sort of, I guess you could say excuses as to, like, why I couldn't do it. Like, maybe things like, oh, well, she said headshots, some of your best headshots. And I'm just like, oh, I don't have any professional photos. I don't have this, I don't have that, stupid little things, like even things as minuscule as like, I don't have my eyelashes are so short, and like, they probably just want someone who's like slamming and look good. And I was already like basically putting myself down before I could even attempt anything, right? And like I said, I played so many scenarios out, but the one scenario I didn't play out at first before I get to the juicy part was like the what if, like, you choose to just do this, like what if you just choose to do it, like just do it, like, right? And I know a lot of people might think like, wow, it's so easy to just like, it's just as easy as like saying yes or no, right? It's like a switch, like we could, right? Because parts of me, even though parts of me are really good at choosing certain things, like yes, this is right for me, no, this is not right for me, like, right? But that's me, that's my perception. And this particular day, I was just like, okay, Vanessa, like, seriously, you need to make a choice, like, what's it gonna be? And I'm like, I just couldn't, like, I couldn't see the bigger picture, because it's crazy how much, if you choose to allow yourself to believe all the negative things, like this little voice, right, that comes from like uncertainty and the not knowing, right? If you choose to allow that to just consume you, you will literally lose so many opportunities, like so many opportunities. And what I'm getting at is that day, I had no idea how choosing to go against everything that I was afraid of, like, I if you guys could have heard what was going through my mind that day, I literally was like, I have kids, I'm older, like she would never choose anybody that has children, like all these things, like I was just tearing myself down, like, right? And I'm just like, but then something happened. I can't even describe what it was, but in that moment, I chose me. I decided that I was going to choose me and that I was not going to allow the world, I wasn't going to allow anything outside of myself to determine like whether I was worthy to be for like anything else other than like, it was one of those things where I was like, even if I don't get chosen, I know that I'm walking out of this a badass because I know that at least I did something that I was just afraid to just take the leap into because I was making so many excuses for myself. So just that, knowing that I chose me in that moment, right? And I grabbed my phone and, mind you, had no professional shots whatsoever. Matter of fact, what's really crazy, what just dawns on me, is the fact that I had a really dope camera, which I could have taken pictures of myself. I have a Nikon, okay? Just plenty of opportunities where maybe I could have had someone just take pictures of me, right? But I was just like, yo, okay, listen, you have to choose to just do this now. Like, you got to jump on it. This is an opportunity, right? And in that moment, like, I know it's so terrifying, right? Because it's so easy for us to allow like that fear to take over, right? And so in that moment, I was like, you know what? I choose you. And I'm just going to I just like grabbed some of the gear that I had of hers, which I had like a jacket, a really dope one, which I have in my closet right now. I had like my Reverie beanie, like, so I was just like, yo, I'm gonna drop this stuff on, and I just like put it on. I did my thing. I did my poses. I did what made me feel good, right? Like, cause that's ultimately what should matter as a woman, as a person, as a man. Like, just do what makes you feel good, right? And it's so much easier to say because some of us have been broken down over time over things that we've allowed people to just penetrate deep inside of us, like to our core, and break us down. And in that moment, just like doing it, just like taking the pictures and like typing out the about me kind of questionnaire, which I was just like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to like type in that was like the first, like that to me, like I was like, okay, I did this. And like, then they messaged me and then like, it was like this little, it was like in levels, right? It was like these kind of increments that you had to do it by, right? And so like, I was just nervous. I was nervous at first about everything. I didn't know, but all I know is that ultimately me choosing for me to be like the main person in this, I was just like, do this for you. That's where it starts, right? Like you choosing to do something for yourself. And so in that moment, me choosing that, it made like everything so exciting because I was just like, wow, like, okay, like we're doing something we're not used to. And so like, I took some pictures of myself, I put on like as if I was my own photographer. I was the model. I was the directing everything. And I just put on the gear and I felt really beautiful. And I took all the shots, literally almost every single shot, aside of like one that was somewhere else. But they were all literally in my room. Like almost every shot was in my room, right? And I feel really good about it. Like I feel good because like once it's crazy, like once I sent in the photographs, right? Like once, I answered my questionnaire and once I sent in the photographs, I've like, it was like this like relief, like this just from you choosing like yourself, right? Like for you saying like, you know what, I'm going to go for this, right? Like, because you should, right? And I get how it could be so scary, but I'm going to share with you why choosing yourself, choosing for you to just take that leap, right? When you like, you're kind of doubting yourself, the little self-doubt that kind of like rides in, right? Why it's so important for you to choose yourself, because ever since like me choosing to choose myself, I went to the casting call, and then it was me and a bunch of other who are now Satori Mob models. And I got to meet so many beautiful people there, right? And I was afraid. I was nerve-wracking, like it's so nerve-wracking, like meeting like new people and like just putting yourself out there and like, it's like when you're a little kid and you're like trying to get invited into a group and, you're just afraid. You're like, oh, okay, it's time to make friends. And you're putting yourself out there. There's like a little nervous, kind of exciting fear. But once it was all said and done, right? Like, I was nervous. I took my shots and like the shots came out beautiful. And like, it was pretty crazy seeing myself through the lens, through someone else's eyes, through someone else's art. And then just seeing myself like in this whole different way than I'm used to seeing myself, right? And like every time I would see like these images, like the more images get put out, I just get to see myself and I'm just like, wow, like, and a part of me just gets so happy and I feel so blessed and grateful because I'm just like, dude, like you chose you and this is what happens. These are choices, right? We choose to either sometimes do something. And even though it's like, I know we can, it's not all black and white, like choices that we make, right? Choices, it's not so easy for some people. You can't just be like yes and no to some things. It's not just like this. It's not like that, right? I can personally maybe look at it like that and be like, okay, it's either yes or no, sis. What is it, right? But in that particular situation, it didn't feel like a yes or no, just do it, because clearly there was much more beyond than what the average eye could see. There was like a lot of things played into it. There was this fear of failure. There was this fear of being rejected. There's fear of so many things, right? That you don't really see about yourself until you have to make a choice like that, right? And so when you choose yourself, it's such an empowering thing, right? And choices go way beyond, choosing to leap into like a certain career or certain thing something that you really want out of your life, right? In this moment, when I got the call back and I was kind of going to do my first modeling thing for Satori Mob, I was just like, I was over the moon. Like, you couldn't shut me up. I was like, that's right. Got my gear. Like, what's up? What is good? What is popping? I'm like, doing my little dance. Like, I was just like, life has been so good for me. Like, ever since joining Satori Mob. Why? Because Satori Mob was more than just a clothing brand. It was like joining a fucking family. Like, it was like, I got to meet other people. And those people I'm still friends with. And like, shout out to the Satori Mob fam. It's not just like a clothing brand, right? That you just like, you see it in a store and you're just like, oh, okay. No. What I loved about it and the reason why I was so adamant about representing Satori Mob was because Satori Mob was representing and it still is representing something that I actually am for, right? And essentially that's what you want when you're going to represent somebody, a company, a brand, a clothing, an artist. You want them to sort of represent you, like it's a reflection of each other, right? Like, and I love Satori because it's sudden enlightenment, right? And like, yo, that you guys know me. This is all I'm ever trying to do is just always trying to improve me. And I love that because that brand, not only does it just represents everything that like Reverie is as an artist, but it also represents like everyone out there on the streets trying to better themselves and enlighten themselves and become better people. And it's like, I love that. I love that when people are for the people, like that's what's up. And it's just crazy because moving forward, right? Like getting to meet one of my favorite like hip hop artists of like LA, her lyrics and her songs are just dope. They're just authentic. It was also like, just, I don't know. I can't really explain it all right now, but all I know is that from that point on, from like that point in my life till now, all I know is that just so much good has come from that. Like, I've met friends who we literally chat every day to each other. We're sending each other memes. We're just like close. We're just like, hey, how are you doing? And this is like beyond like the clothing line that we represent, but it's more like we're a community. We're like there for one another. We help one another out. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if I wouldn't have chose that, then so many other things wouldn't have happened. Like, a lot of things started going into effect, right? And I I can't even like right now, like I'm just like, I don't know if you guys can hold on. What is going on with my sorry about that, you guys. Something was happening with my camera. So again, like I can't really explain in full entirety like the exact details of everything I felt, but I know for certain one of the things that I felt was just like I felt like I went into another realm, right? Like I'm just like, all right, cool. Like this is another part of life that I always wanted to experience. And now I'm here, y'all. Like I'm here. And after meeting Reverie and like now like wearing the clothing line, which is like super sick and dope, is that a lot of other things happen. So a lot of you guys probably don't know this, but the choices that we make, I swear, they either bring greatness into your life or they bring a whole lot of sadness, right? And it's up to us to choose what it is that we want. Like, what do you want, right? What do you value the most? Like, what is it that you value, right? Because like it can be like, you could be in that situation where you're trying to make a choice, right? But if you find it where you're like, it's easier said than done, Vanessa, I get stuck. I don't really know what it is that I'm going to choose. You have to ask yourself, like, what do you value the most? Like, what is it that you value, right? Because to me, like in that moment, it could have been hard, right? Like it could have been really hard. And it was hard for me to make a decision. Like, should I do this? Should I not? Right? So anybody else will probably be like, well, I would have done it. I would have done this. But yeah, but we're different people. And I get that. But if you could see it through my eyes and understand that there was so much more than just making a decision. Like it's a choice. Yes. But I had to ask myself, what do you value most? And my answer was simple. I value myself. I value me as a person. I value my happiness. And so I was able to just override that fear of that decision, of that choice, right? So just based on that, so much goodness has come from there because during that time I was going to school. And a lot of you guys don't know this because I haven't said anything to a lot of you, but I actually chose to quit college. I haven't talked about it. I haven't said anything to anyone. I've kept it pretty hush hush. And I don't really have to tell anybody anything. It's my goddamn business and it's my goddamn money, right? But I think a part of me knew that it was like a waste of my time. And I realized that I'm the type of person that if I want something, I will go after it and I will get what I want because it's that like hustler mentality, right? See, when you're born with not much of a lot of things and you don't really grow up with a lot of material possessions, it kind of gives you that like different outlook on life where when you do get something, you're very grateful for it. It makes you work twice as hard to try to make up for what other people maybe around you already have, right? Typically, not all, but I'm speaking for myself. And so like, I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I just felt like the schooling that I was like the education that I was getting, even in college, because I've done 3 years of college prior to me joining this college that I had joined. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied with what I was getting. So I decided for the time being that I was just going to either pause, put it on hold, or just quit entirely. And so, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do something that I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. And I chose this. I chose my podcast because I truly believe that I had a message to give to people. I truly believe that a lot of the knowledge that I gained through life and through all my experiences and all the reading and all the education and all the people that I've met through, this lifetime, that it was worthy of me, sharing and getting that out there. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not your average YouTuber. I'm not going to sit here and apologize for my ratchet nails. I'm not going to apologize for anything, because that's a choice that we make, to be self-conscious, to be afraid, everything, we are products of our upbringings. And I know you guys hear me say this a lot, but everything can be labeled as a choice if you choose for it to be labeled that way. Understand that if certain things have happened to you up until this point, I'm not saying it's all entirely your fault, because sometimes everybody is, we have different circumstances growing up. Sometimes certain things force you to make better choices because of the lifestyle that you had growing up. And sometimes we are just, we were unfortunately a product of our upbringing, not in a bad way, but sometimes some people weren't taught to make good choices. And so we're like struggle with that growing up. But I'm here to basically say that by me choosing a lot of the things that I did, whether it was from, it all starting from me choosing to like go ahead and like not be afraid and send in this information for when the casting call was happening for Satori Mob, to like deciding to quit school, from deciding to start my podcast, from deciding to go 100% with my fitness, to 100% with like my nutrition and all of these things, because I decided that was the life that I wanted for me. And I wasn't going to allow money, materialistic things, those things come when you do what you love. And I realized that, and it took me a long time to realize that, and I didn't know why I was chasing this gratification from a paper, right? Here I am spewing out my soul. But it feels good. It feels really good to say this to you guys. And some people will judge you, but that's okay, see? Because it's your choice to take it personal, and it's your choice to just let it roll and just be like, hey, everybody's entitled to be who the fuck they want to be, right? And some of us, it takes us a lot longer to realize. And some of us, we just, again, my brother couldn't have said it better the other day. There's a couple paths, there's a couple ways you can go from your choices. You could either choose to basically stay in that same repetitive, just lifestyle, or you can choose to evolve. And, again, I get how everybody's circumstances are different, but you have to start somewhere, right? Everybody's got to start somewhere, because I know for certain that I highly doubt none of us choose to wake up and be sad, or everybody, like, I feel like that's all ultimately what we want. We want that happiness. We want to just be financially free. But everything starts with, with what you decide for yourself, for your life, for your own happiness, and how much do you value yourself. So, yeah, y'all, I'm telling y'all, there's so many choices to be made. Some people like choose to save money. Some people choose to eat healthier. Some people choose to give away money. Some people choose to exercise every day, which is me. I choose to exercise every day. You could choose to read a book. It doesn't have to be a whole book, but just like for a half an hour alone with yourself. Why? Because it's just a way for you to just, experience life and ideas through a book, through someone else's minds. And sometimes it could be hard, like being stuck in our own minds, especially if you have that kind of mind that's just like running like 50 miles an hour. I don't even know if that's fast for a mind, but yeah, feel me, right? But yeah, I mean, like, I had to share that with you guys. I had to share that with, ever since that particular choice that I made, even though it was like terrifying, right? I was terrified because it's the not knowing that just gnaws at you, right? It like eats up at you. It's like, yum, 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 yum. But, God, yeah, it eats you up, right? Because the not knowing. But I'm telling you guys, Me, your girl, okay? If you trust me, sometimes when you make that choice to like, even though it's kind of like you're just not sure, you're not really positive where it's gonna go, I am telling y'all that on the other side is nothing but like, and that's the thing, like, once you make that choice, right? Did I just spit? I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel like I just spit at the camera. Choice. Once you make that choice, our brain is a muscle, right? So we've been told. But when I was a kid, I used to always think it was spaghetti. But anyway, so our brain is a muscle. So when you make a good choice, especially for yourself, you feel me? That's just gonna like cause you to be stronger. Well, not you, like physical, because everything starts up here. So like your brain's gonna be like, next time when you're faced with a situation that maybe you feel is a little tough, you're just gonna be like, okay, I think I know what I need to do here. And it's gonna become an easier thing for you. You're not gonna feel like it's such a hard task or such a hard decision. You're going to be able to choose. You're going to kind of be able to contemplate and really like assess the situation that's in front of you. And you're going to be like, okay, all right, like, cool. Like, I know what I need to do. But when you're used to making bad choices after bad choices, it becomes hard for you to make a good choice, you know? And that's the truth, you know? I have maybe weekends where, you know, like I could eat good the whole week, and then maybe one weekend, you know, like, and I'll start off in the afternoon, I'll eat some junk food, and then when come nighttime, I can't say to myself like, hey, stop it, bitch, like calm the fuck down, like put the goddamn Takis down, or put the goddamn whatever the hell, Oreos down, put the Oreos down, bitch, put them down. But you know, when you make one little bad decision where there's so minuscule, let me tell you, it becomes harder. You're just training this little bad boy up here to just be like, oh, so this is what we're supposed to do? Oh, okay. So yeah, let's go right ahead and do that, right? And you just mess yourself up, and then you go and feel bad, and you end up in this repetitive little cycle, right? So that's why I share that story with you guys, you know, because I wanted you guys to know, like, hey, you know, those are big, impactful things. Quitting college. You know, I had already done 3 years of college, and then plus this year would have made it 4. So technically, I've done 4 years of college, and I just feel like aside of like, you know, I've learned a lot of, you know, I learned useful things, but nothing that I felt was going to get me to where I wanted to go. And that's why I decided like, yo, no, man, I'm not doing this, and that's okay. And I don't feel bad about it because I know that I'm a smart person. And I know that if you have these and this, and you're willing to make shit happen, ain't no degree gonna stop you. Okay? Let me just say that. Look at me in the eyes when I tell you that. Nothing's gonna stop you. When you want something, you don't need a paper to validate. You just gotta have the will, and you will get there. And that's a choice. You could choose that. Right? But it all starts with like little choices, and then those choices will just help you make even more better choices. And just literally choosing that, right? And then choosing, you know, to stop going to school or college, you know, whatever fucking makes people happy. Terminologies, I swear, human terminologies. And, you know, choosing to start working out and getting more serious about my fitness than ever. And like studying more into nutrition. Man, I have enough books here. I got my own fucking little miniature college here. Oh, no. Anyways, I won't get into the whole college system. But anyways, look. The way I see it is that every single choice I've made from there, from like from deciding to just go for the casting call, to stop going to school, to work out 100 or 100% and focus on myself, is that so many opportunities have been happening for me. And every time it's made that decision to where I get asked something, whether it's an opportunity, and I don't feel that fear anymore. I'm just like, because I know that choosing myself and just choosing to override that fear, because it's could be very hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, but when you do, I am a you guys' vessel here. These are the kind of things that can happen to you when you choose yourself, when you choose something that you believe in, somebody that you value, which is yourself. And that's so important. So I had to share that with you guys. I had to get that off my chest because, I figure if I'm going to be like talking about anybody on my YouTube channel, I already like promised myself. I said, I will not represent anybody, and I will not talk about anyone or anything that I don't value, or any brand or company that doesn't align with my values. And Satori, man, I value them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they understand me. We understand each other. This is a brand that I am for, and they got some dope shit. And I suggest you guys, I'll put the link down in the description so you guys can click that, and it'll take you right to the store. And when I say like so much new stuff has came out, man, y'all don't want to miss that. No, you don't. Please don't. Okay. And yeah, so wow, you guys, the choices that we make, man. Ultimately, whatever choices we make, whether it's like from choosing our friends to jobs to school, I think the biggest choice that anybody can make, right? And it's not as easy, right? Because of like when we're born, I can't believe I'm going to say this because someone said this to me recently. We're a blank canvas, right? And so to speak, like a lot of the things that happen to you or to us, we can't be blamed for it 100% of it, because we start off as a blank canvas. And so like, a lot of things we learn, we see, we absorb, we learn along the way. And so on that note, I'm just going to say that one of the hardest decisions that you make, I feel like, in your life is you having to face yourself head on and choosing to love yourself. And a lot of people, I used to be one of those people that would just be like, yeah, I don't give a about what anybody says. I don't care about this and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like the people that usually have said that in the past, that like didn't care about a lot of things, usually care the most from my experience, right? And so like that's one of the things, and that's one of the things that like for me like represents sudden alignment, right? Because that's when you like really choose to love yourself. And so the reason why I wanted to make today's topic about choices and also like talk about the clothing brand, because I'm just like, yo, that has to do with a choice that you made in your life. And so this is important, and this is like you have to talk about it, right? And yeah, like I feel good talking about it, and I hope that something I said here today makes sense to you guys, and you guys are like, damn, okay, like, so yeah, choose like the choices that we make, like sometimes you like have to choose to override that fear, or that like uncertainty, because trust me, those little voices in your head creeping. But like I'm choosing to drink this matcha right now. My God. I don't know who else loves matcha as much as I do, but I'd be loving me some matcha. Anyways, sorry, sometimes my daddy's voice comes out of me. Yes, and you know what's crazy, you guys? I'm just gonna share this since I'm being super personal today. Anyways, one of the last times I remember talking with my dad, I remember telling him like, oh, I want to be this, and Dad, I want to be a personal trainer, which, by the way, I still do. And I feel like I know everything that I should know already to basically help someone get to their fittest selves. But it was just crazy because I remember Like, this was like over 4 years ago. I remember we were having a conversation, and one of the last conversations we actually had before my dad passed away. I remember my dad was just like, I was like, yeah, Dad, I want to do this. And he just like straight up like give it to me, like straight up. He was just like, hey, if you want this, you know what it's going to take, and you got to work your ass off. Right. And I know like when we hear this, we choose maybe not to hear it at the moment, but it's crazy how I actually chose for it to like sink in, and it was just in there, just like marinating, it's like it's marinating in there. And like now I'm just like, yo, that's right. Because like, I can understand, like for me, it feels easy, right? But I understand for like some of you, maybe it doesn't feel like so easy to make certain choices when it comes to your friends, to yourself, to your everyday life, to the career that you love, to the right partner, to reading a book, to eating healthy, to choosing to give money, to even choosing to get a dog, right? Like all these things, like I get that, right? But that's in those moments where maybe you're having that like hard time and you're like, this is a hard decision, right? You always have to ask yourself, like, what is it that you value, right? Like, at least that's what helped me, because if you guys know me, like you see, like some of you guys have watched my growth. I feel like some of you guys have watched my growth and my evolution, and like you've seen it, right? There was times where I was just like so nervous, right? And I was just like, what the fuck are you nervous for? Like, relax. Like you swear people don't fuck up. Like, what is wrong with you? Right? Like everybody's just walking around like just like perfectly shaped and like just perfect character, and like they ain't got spinach in their teeth. I hope I don't have spinach in my teeth, but that's my whole point. Like me choosing to just understand that I value myself, and like it's okay, like choosing yourself, right? Like to love yourself ultimately. Helped me so much in this journey that I'm on. And like when I tell you guys, so many opportunities have opened up for me like since then, and to be able to like basically like choose now, right? To make that decision and be like, yeah, because like now I know, like just letting go of that little fear and that uncertainty of that making that decision is that like I know like doors just keep opening for me since then. Like I'm just like riding the pony, And yeah, and that's what I want for you guys too, and that's why I'm here. If you've been having trouble like making decisions about something and you're just not sure, and maybe you wanted to start a YouTube channel, maybe you wanted to like start a podcast, maybe you wanted a model and you're just not sure, or maybe like all these things, right? I understand that. I've been there. I understand that sometimes it's hard making these decisions because all these things come up. All these things come up, right? You're like everything comes up, like, right? Because you gotta decide and understand that it's not always easy at first, but take it from me, who has made so many decisions since my casting call and a lot of great things. I started this podcast last year on September 11th. 2 days prior, after so much time talking about it, I was like, I am fucking over it. Like, I am done talking about stuff. I am ready to choose action, right? But it all started from like me making that choice to like model, to like just go for it, go for my dreams, to go for what I want to do, right? And not look back. And that's kind of what I'm telling you. Like, it's scary, It's just scary. It's nerve-wracking. But a lot of good things come your way from like you just choosing yourself and not fear, not choosing anger, not choosing sadness. So yeah, you guys, I'm not gonna be like sitting here all day talking about all this sadness. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. Like I said, if you really like this video and you want me to do more videos like this or my podcast, give this video a thumbs up, share, like, subscribe down below somewhere, I don't know. And yeah, and also go check out Satori Mob, man. Like, what y'all waiting on? Like, I already told y'all the whole story, man. Like, y'all should be like already halfway there with a buttload of items in your cart. You know what I'm saying? What's up? And yeah, and so on that note, as always, you guys know that I like to leave my podcast with a new joke and word of the day. And so today's joke of the day. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Because you guys know that I like you guys leaving my podcast, learning something new. Also, if you have any questions about today's podcast, feel free to email me at peopletalknow@hotmail.com. And yeah, hit me up. Ask me questions. If you feel like there's something that I should be talking about, email me and message me through Instagram, Facebook. You guys know me. Some of you guys. If you guys are new, hi. My name's Vanessa Herrera. And yeah, I'm the host of this podcast. So let's get right into it. Today's joke of the day. Kind of corny, but I don't know why I liked it because I've been thinking about making some muffins lately. Anyway, so it goes like this. There are 2 muffins baking in the oven. One muffin says to the other, "Phew, is it getting hot in here or is it just me?" The other muffin says, "Ah, a talking muffin." Can we cue the laughter? Because, I thought it was cute, but, maybe not everybody else does. But y'all can choose to like it. But I'm just saying, you're choosing not to like it right now. I'm not going to take it personal because I choose not to. Okay, so we're going to leave this podcast with the word of the day. So today's word of the day, sorry, I'm talking 50 miles a minute. Collimate. Let me see. Collimate? Yeah, collimate. So it's COLLIMATE. The definition of collimate is to make parallel. So did you know one might expect a sciencey word like collimate to have a straightforward etymology, but that's not the case. Collimate comes from the Latin collimare, a misreading of the Latin word collinare, meaning to direct in a straight line. The erroneous collimare appeared in some editions of the works of ancient Roman statesman Cicero and scholar Aulus Gellius. The error was propagated by later writers, most notably by astronomers such as Johannes Kepler, who wrote in Latin, and so it was the spelling collimate rather than collinate. So that passed into English in the 19th century as a verb meaning to make something such as light rays, parallel. So basically to direct in a straight line. So I'm going to direct y'all, I'm going to collimate y'all to subscribe down below over here and to like and share and subscribe this video if you liked it. If you don't, then I'm really sorry I let you down. Not just kidding. But thank you guys so much for watching episode 35, y'all. And yeah, if I didn't already say it, go check out Satori Mob. What's up? What's good? And rock your stuff out because if you want to be part of the Sudden Enlightenment crew, you got to get on that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And yeah, as always, you guys, thank you for watching and have a kick-ass fucking Wednesday. Peace.